Hebrews. Hebrews chapter 4, verse 1. The NLT translation. The NLT translation. Yahweh's promise of entering his rest shall stand. So we ought to tremble with fear that some of you might fail to experience it. For this good news that Yahweh Wayahusha has prepared, this rest has been announced to us, just as it was to them, but they did not. But it did them no good, because they didn't share the faith of those who listen to Yahweh Wayahusha. I like to give all prayers and honor and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahusha Ba'ashem Kakodash. The water of Ba'ashem Yahusha for giving us the apostles and elders of great millstone who deserve double honors rightfully so. Shalom to the Akim, pushing the word of sincerity and truth from being faith-based, being prepared for what is to come. And what is to come, race wars, famine, concentration camps, the R5D Egypt, which is the mark of the beast. 200 million Mississippi in the soils of America. Simultaneously, the church of the Lord lifting the hopeful elect into the chambers. Simultaneously, the church of the Lord shooting laser beams at the ungodly and the heathens. Rightfully so. Hey, shalom to the Akim. We still in this, and it's been a wonderful outcome. Hey, we didn't know. One of the brothers mentioned about prodigal sons. I kind of like paused the video, and I was watching a few different videos, but then I was watching something else. But at this point, in the meantime, in between time, we're brothers now. We still going at it, and like Elder Saquon Yashwama said, we still in this, man. From our apostles still doing it to now, our elders are still doing this. The Akim, the ones we still see, it benefited us. Despite all the things we're going through in our bodies and in the world, this truth benefited us. It did us good. Yahweh Shah did us good, bro. And the promise still stands. The promise still stands, and we just gotta inherit it. And if we be the first fruit, the other one, those that fell out, they're gonna come back as our children, which makes logical sense that they're gonna be ashamed for a moment or two, and they're gonna get back and they're gonna see their enemy, and they're gonna want to kick their behind, right? I'm just trying to say it in the, how they said in Kid and Play, he's gonna kick your fucking ass. Hey, that's what's gonna happen. They're gonna be in order. This is what we're looking for. The promise is pure righteousness. That's what the promise is. And that's what Yahweh said. He's gonna get the kingdom, we're gonna inherit the kingdom, and we're gonna live forever. That's the rest. So let me just go. I'm gonna let's read the headlines. I got two headlines here. I got the KJV and the NLT. The KJV, the headline reads, "The believers rest." The believers rest. So there is a batch of people that's gonna believe in this faithful word, and it's gonna magnify itself, because once you believe the word, everything else falls in place. Because you got to be hearers of the word, right? They're doers, right? That's what. Don't be just hearers of the word. We're gonna be doers too, and that's what we become. We're doers now. That's what it means by being still in it. We're doers. We're doers of the word. Be doers of the word. Bible verse, King James version. All right. So let's see if we can find that verse, and that's where we at. So yeah, for some apparent reason it didn't pop up. So let's try it again. Be doers of the word, Bible verse, King James Version. Let's see what happened here. Need that one verse. All right, it's James. All right, James chapter 1, verse 22. But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. So that was when we got that on decree back way back. Or we could say way back because now we're in 2025. And I remember clearly when I seen Apostle DeHart said it. He said it a couple of times, but I remember him seeing it and saying it. You gotta get out there. Get out there, and it should be millions of camps. It should be camps all over the place. And we just saw an individual. I remember that individual. He looked like a Edomite, but he had a spirit of a Jake. I mean, he probably still be a Jake, but he just fell out. I don't know, but he had his hand to the plow, and he took it off. I remember him since yesterday, like it was yesterday when I seen the video. So damn, you see brothers, but you don't see them no more. I still see that when I come down to the camp. I'm 3 hours away from one camp, I'm 3 hours away from the other camp. And all in my mind, I could think of, make do with that's all I really hear, make do of your calling, make do of your calling. So I say, I'm making do of my calling. All right, this is what I hear. You see a video and it inspires you to do a video. I see a video and it inspires me to do a video. All right, that's what it's at. Right now, it's been raining since yesterday, all day, heavy rain. Last night, right now it's I didn't say the time, which is important. The time is 6:50, 6:51 a.m. Sunday, May 4th, 2025, the hopeful year of our deliverance and destruction and judgment on our Joshua, which is very important to say, because that's the coined year. That's what the year been coined. So, all right, so, here we up. I wanted to go out this morning as usual and get one in, but maybe later on when the rain calms down. It looks refreshing out there because we sort of needed the rain. It's been dry, whatever. Back and forth. I don't know whether it's cold, hot. I don't know. The other day, a few days ago, it started snowing for no apparent reason. Right now, what month we in? This is May. In April, it started freaking snowing. So we know something's going on with the weather. And that's something we learned. That's something I learned years ago about the weather being modified. So, weather control. So we learning what wickedness that our Joshua is doing. And he who let it will let it. He's letting them do it so he could put them in jail. And hold on. I want to put it up here on the screen. Go to the blue letter real quick. Which is dynamic. The way Yabashim Shaf, I have it, our apostles bring all these great things to the forefront. And like I said, it's a lot of conversations happening. It is truly at the point where we have to certain brothers in his truth and his ministry of his thing about in his ministry of ours, someone have to do a video on this topic, someone have to do a video on this topic, and then it circulates, and then other brothers pick it up and they do a topic on the same topic. So we can keep this this machine oiled, and the wheels rolling in this machine. So things gotta be always talked about, because we defending the gospel. All right. Now the headline reads for James chapter 1, testing your faith. Okay, that's the headline reads for this chapter, testing your faith. We're gonna go down to the point where we was at, which was 22. So it says, James chapter 1, verse 21. Wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness, and receive with meekness the ungrafted word, which is able to save your soul. And that's where it's at, bro. This faithful word is able to save your soul, bro. Learn this truth. This where you see the promise at, right? And after you receive the word, what you supposed to do? But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own self. So the apostles told us that. They said, and like I said, our apostles, Elder Yashua said that. He said, yo, we still doing it. We still see the great example still doing it. You know? And we is doing it still too. From the time I hit the payment until now, we're still doing it. You know? And those that fell out I don't know. The brother said, elder brother Ariella said, I don't know about the prodigal sons. Is whatever you want, whatever Yahweh Shah allows. That's what I was thinking the same thing. Like, damn, bro, like you put a lot into it, but only Yahweh Shah know who the predestinated was. I do not want to fall to the wayside. I don't want to grow on top of a rock. Not the rock. It says not the rock of Yahweh Shah, but the when you get scourged on the rock. Was the one to break down Yahweh Shah did. Stony ground. You don't want to be one of those men, and you don't want to get pulled out of this because of issues in your life. This faithful word is standing. It's standing. The promise stands. As we know it says, if any be a hearer of the words and not doers, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass. And you don't want to be like that. All right? 1 second. Let's see something here. Let's go a little more deep on that one. Right? So you don't want to get this truth and not be a doer, because you're going to deceive your own self. You know. And time going to tell. And individuals been real dynamic, pushing this word, right? And then next thing you know, you're not doing it no more. That's terrifying. You might have been the man that to bring in other men and not proceed over to the end. You know, you meet the apostles. I've seen this happen before. They came to the apostles' houses, ate in their houses, slept in their beds. The apostles took care of them. And now they ain't here no more. Now they out there talking mess about the apostles. I've seen this before. And it's not a good look for them, because our apostles still stood the test of time. And now it's 2025. We got Donnie two Dolls, aka the King of Babylon, right? Aka Nero, up back in office. What is he doing? Wreaking havoc on all the other nations and his fellow Edomites, right? The NATO, the European Union, everything's all over the place because he's more stout than his fellows. The scripture speaks about all these things. So the promise still stands. Okay? The promise stands. That what Yahweh Shah said.
And when we go back to the scriptures, what it tells you, much tribulation to enter the kingdom. So that's a part of the promise. That's a part of the road to perfection. Let me say it that way. On the road to perfection, it's going to be much tribulation to enter into the kingdom. The kingdom is the promise, the everlasting life. So in order to get the kingdom, you're going to have to go through much tribulation. So these are the words, these are the faithful words that's in the scriptures. And you can't put your hands to the plow and think you can take your hands off. This is mercy. This is your mercy. This is your mercy back to Yahweh Shema Shah. Okay. So these individuals have deceived themselves, but Yahweh Shema Shah wasn't deceived. He already knew. Because later on, you're gonna be whatever you had dawned in your mind, and you was talking that mess, and we all fight demons, but once you give into those demons, it's over. All right. So you gotta keep. Let's go back to this one. Hebrews chapter 4, verse 1. I want to read the headlines for these two verses for the KJV and the NLT. It's the believer's rest. Right, for the KJV, promise for the NLT, the promise rest for Yahweh's people. Promise rest for Yahweh's people. All right, let's read this at KJV. Let us therefore fear. That's what you better do. You better fear, lest a promise being left us of entering into the rest. I'm telling you, bro. There's a rest. We ain't gonna be going to work no more. We're gonna be living forever. We're gonna be drinking whatever is righteous. We're gonna be doing it. That's a rest. We watching all this wicked. Our eyes is not resting, bro. Cause we gotta see this madness, and it's something to experience. But we want to get a rest from it. And any of you should seem to come short of it. You don't want to come short of it. It's going real fast. Hold on, that was. Did I get that one? Hold on, Hebrews. Salakia. Let's see. Any of you should come short of it. You don't want to come short of it. And I don't want to come short of it. That's why I feel like I got to keep going. I got to keep pushing. So I can now do something here. I want to see who's saying what. And how do you find out who's saying what? You put the letters in red. All right. I want to know if y'all was shy speaking. It just came to that. Yep. It says Matthew chapter 7 verse 21. Yahushua saying this: not everyone that saith unto me Yahweh, Yahweh shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Now eventually, after you're born again, right, the hopeful elect is gonna get in there first, and then if you're 2/3, you're gonna get born back into the society, and then you're gonna be the children of the hopeful elect, which is gonna be the elect, and then you're gonna be, you're gonna be for a little bit of time, you're gonna be ashamed of yourself because you were doing all this crazy shit on this side. But on that side, you're gonna be perfect. You're gonna be happy. You're gonna never have to work again. You're gonna be a royal family, and everybody's gonna see you. But you're gonna receive the promise after the second death. During the first resurrection, you're not going to be there. So that's what you're not going to experience, the resurrection. But you're going to die. And I don't want that. I want to make it around. Just